Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're featuring what I think is actually a really good looking Seiko. This is the new Speedtimer. And yes, I know I have reviewed many Seikos of late. It's only because they've brought out lots of new models, so I want to get the videos out there. This one here, the Speedtimer, I think originally, it first seen the light of day in the Seiko catalogue back in the late 60s it would have been. I think it's supposed to be a reinterpretation of a 1972 one. And I think it's actually quite a cool looking watch. Plus, dare I say, it's on the more affordable scale of the Seiko watches we've seen of late. Many of them now are obviously going up into the thousands, and this one is coming in before any kind of discounts at £850, but it still features a 6-hour movement, in fact their latest model. And I think it is really quite a cool looking watch. I like that it's not a diver, it's not a dress watch, it's that somewhere in between. But before I get too far into this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth for allowing me to review this piece. Lots of cool, interesting brands, some you may know, some you may not. So if you're in the Midlands area, I'd strongly recommend popping into the shop. If you're a bit further afield, well, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description below and at the bottom of the page now. All I ask, if you do contact them, please mention the channels, it really would help. So anyway, let's talk sizes first. We're coming in at 39.5mm case size, a thickness of only 12.1mm, which is allegedly the thinnest ever model they've done with a 6R55 movement. And the lug to lug, the longest point across the watch, is 44mm, and the case and the bracelet size on this one is coming in at 20mm. The dial, I like this. I think it's got a kind of cool look to it. I like the use of the kind of dark greys, the lighter kind of silvery grey as well. It's very muted, but then you have this touch of orange. But again, they've gone with a relatively dull shade of orange, if that makes sense. It's not too kind of in your face. And I think it looks really good. There's something really nice about this watch. Definitely one I would consider myself. I like that you've got the applied hour markers there, and they are polished. And as they come round to this kind of chapter ring here, you have got the loom on there, obviously with the minute counter divided up into, I think it's elements of 4. And then you have these rather nice hands, which have got the spine running down the middle, which makes them more interesting, and the loom in there. Now, when it comes to loom, the loom on the hands and the pip at the top here is very impressive. The smaller loom pips obviously aren't going to be quite as impressive, but still you can see them, and that's the main thing. I like these touches of orange you see here. Now, we do have a date window down here at kind of a 4:30 position. I know not too many people are, kind of keen on that, but I don't mind it at all because you only really read it when you need to. You also have the applied Seiko logo on there, and it looks good just with Speedtimer, the Prospex logo, and the automatic 3 days. And this watch still carries 200 meters of water resistance to it. Now, around here, this is actually an internal bezel. So we have 2 crowns on the side here. The lower crown controls that internal bezel, and it is absolutely silky smooth. I really do like it. How much play is there between? If I go there and I turn back, it is virtually instant. You can see there. As I go to turn that, there is virtually no slack in that at all. It is very, very impressive. The only downside I would say to it is this isn't protected in it. Well, not so much protected, but you can't screw it in to lock it, which is a little bit of a shame because it is quite easy to turn. So, yeah, I don't think really, let's face it, it's not really a problem. It's not as if you're going to use this for diving. The whole purpose of this is basically you can use it as a countdown or count. So if you want to set 10 minutes, you just do that. Line it up. When the minute hand gets there, that's your 10 minutes. So obviously you can go further than that up to a 1 hour scale, 30 minutes. Or you could go like this and you start counting down. You can do it that way as well, but that is the best way. 5-minute countdown, 10-minute countdown, and so forth. But I really like it. I think the colours just look great. They really do. The crystal on this is a domed sapphire crystal with AR coating on the inside. And to be fair, it does a reasonable job of keeping the reflections down there. The bezel is a fixed bezel, just pressed in there. And the actual case of the watch, it is a little bit of a smudge magnet. You can see we've got straight line brushing there, and we've got radial brushing going around the top, and then you've got this beautiful polished section here. And what's nice, this is treated to Seiko's case hardening process. Now, to be fair, I don't know how many Vickers this one is. If it was the same as the old one, it would have been about Dire Shield. I think it was about 550 Vickers, which is pretty strong. I don't know on this one, to be fair. So if any of you guys do know what it is, I would be intrigued to know. Now, as we come round, obviously you can see it all blend round. We do have the two crowns here. They're both unsigned. One thing I would say, the crown for the timekeeping side is a non-screw down crown. So that will just spin, no problem at all. That's straight into hand winding. And then, as you can see, pull it out and then you can start manipulating the date, or you can do it that way. So as we can see here, is it going? Nope, next one round. And being a 6R, it just has the lazy date change. As you can see, we're almost, it's starting to turn already. Still, Seiko do need to catch up with ETA and get there with quickset. They have started doing it now on the 6L movement, so hats off to them on that one. But yeah, so that is incredibly easy to turn. And as you can see, I dare say after a day on the wrist, this bezel may be wherever. But I don't care. I still think it's quite a good, yeah, it's still quite cool. Under the hood, we do have a solid case back on this, but under the hood, as mentioned, is the 6R55 movement. Now, I was pleasantly surprised. I put it on the time graph at first, and it was a little bit wayward, but I think, to be fair, it was just out of the box, so it needed a little bit of a couple of minutes of actually running. And after that, I found it was coming in around about +1 second in the position I had it. You have a 24 joule movement with 72 hours of power. So a really long power supply on there. It beats at 6 beats per second. Overall, it should be a solid movement with no problem at all. Now, as we come past that, we have this kind of funky looking bracelet. I actually don't mind it. I think it kind of matches the watch, but I could really picture this on a black or a dark grey leather strap with orange loops at the top or some orange stitch. I think this would look cracking like that. Really would be a good looking watch with a nice leather strap to match the kind of grey look and the orange stitching or whatever. I think that would look, this watch is screaming out for it. Not that there's anything bad with this at all. It is a very nice bracelet. I believe it is push pin, it'll be the pin and collar system. Yeah, you can see there's arrows there. When it comes to the clasp, it's a nice, simple affair, fold open, no problem at all. But unfortunately, you do only get 2 levels of micro adjustment. I honestly think if they made this clasp that little bit longer and they put 3 levels in there, it would be a lot better. So, 3 levels, 2 is probably okay, but sometimes I always like to set a watch up on the middlemost one, and then it gives you leeway to go back and forth if you do need it. Let me put this one on the wrist and you'll get an idea how it looks. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing my Hanhart 417 ES historic model, which I really do like. And Bob has a Doxer. We haven't seen Doxer on this channel for a long time. So this one is the new Clive Cussler model. And as you can see, it's got this kind of vintage, sort of like a patina across the whole lot of it. I quite like it, actually. So my wrist size, as I've stated before, 7¼ inches, 18.5 centimeters. You've got plenty of bracelet wiggle room there. So you can go right up, I reckon, to possibly an 8-inch wrist. And that's how it looks on my wrist. Honestly, I think this is a very, very good looking Seiko. I really do like this one quite a lot. I just think black or a dark grey leather strap with that orange stitch would be amazing. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. But most importantly, you all stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.